everybody, it's your girl Angie, founder of Love Inspiry LLC, and I am back with another episode of Vow Triumph. This episode right here is episode 6 for Richer or for Poorer, and I share my story about how I triumphed through For Richer or Poorer. Stick around if you want triumph in your vows.
To be my wedded wife.
To be my wedded husband.
To have.
To hold. From this day forward.
For better.
Or worse.
For richer.
Or poorer.
In sickness.
And in health.
Till
death do us part. According to God's holy ordinance. I pledge thee my faith and myself to you. I thought it was important that I took you on a ride to show you exactly where we stayed and what we were dealing with, to paint a picture so you can fully understand and grasp what a lot of people are going through financially. Stick around and tune in to the hotels that we lived in. So this was the first hometel that we called it a hometel because it was our home, and we didn't have anywhere to call home or nothing to call home, and this is just what we called it. And this was the first one we went to. I'm not really sure how we found it. This is the first one, and we had a corner suite. Here, room 126, our first hotel. Obviously, you see people actually live here, and when we were going through it, nobody ever knew because we never showed it. That's why it's so important to be mindful how you treat people. You don't never know what somebody's going through. Just because they don't look like they don't have anything doesn't mean that they actually don't. So this was one of the spots. It was not very neat in there. Toilets weren't that great. But it's what we call home. Okay. It feels kind of weird being back here and seeing it and just like thinking about all them years ago and look where we're at now, being in our home now, and just the business and all of that. So it's bittersweet because humbling things happen here. So this was it. This is the second hotel that we stayed at, and even being out here, like, I can smell the stench, like it stinks out here, and on the inside it was 10 times worse. This is where I became the most humble. It was smaller than the last space, it was nastier than the last space, and it was terrible. It was a terrible experience. We were here. Somewhere over here. I think somewhere down here. I don't really remember the exact location, but I know it was on the second floor, but I don't remember the exact room number. And I don't think I'm gonna remember. This one was the worst out of all of them that we lived in. It was only 3, but this was the absolute worst one ever. Wanted to show you guys what we went through and what a lot of other people go through too. Just never know how you're gonna end up. You can say I'm not gonna this or I'm gonna do that. But you just never know what God has in store for you. I'm grateful and I'm humbled by what we had to endure. But you just gotta be careful, seeing where you're never gonna end up or what you're never gonna do. You just never know. So this was this place. So this was the last hotel that we were stayed at. I remember taking pictures somewhere over here, just being the happiest we ever were. Just like learning to be content with what you have. It may not be the best of circumstances that you're in, but you just have to be content. You have to be hopeful that you'll get out of it. And we weren't here too long. With Christ on our side, we were not here that long, and we were able to move out and get an apartment. But this is the third place. We use the back entrance a lot over here. As you can see, people actually live here. You just never know, somebody's situation. So that's the third place. It is Angie here, and I'm back with another episode of Vow Triumph. In this episode, you just saw the hotels that my husband and I lived in. And in those hotels, I never want anybody to feel sorry for us. I want you to know that we were blessed. We were content, we were thankful, we were positive, and we were hopeful for a brighter tomorrow, and God blessed us with that brighter tomorrow. So first of all, if anybody out there is going through financial struggles and you just don't know how you're going to get along, you just don't know how you're going to make ends meet, you don't know where your next meal is coming from, you don't know if that light bill is going to be paid, please, with my story, please hold on to God's word. It will not fail you. We may weep, but joy comes in the morning. Please believe that you will get out of whatever situation that you are in now, whether it could have been prevented or not, because at the end of the day, we all go through things. God places us in situations for a reason. So I never look at things and say what I could have prevented or I regretted or whatever the case may be, because I was placed there for a reason. I was placed there to give encouragement to other people like I'm doing so right now, because I can tell you I know what it's like to be financially bound. I know what it's like to be strapped and just chains and not know where anything, how you're going to pay. I remember sitting at my dining room table in Lithia Springs, Georgia. It was a round table, dining room table. And I just remember me and my husband looking at each other and like, how are we going to pay this electric bill? How is it going to get paid? And I want to show you the power of God. We were at church one day and this man just randomly wrote my husband a $200 check. We were going to church. We were down on our last penny, headed to church, and we had a $200 check written for us. So I say that to say, you may be up, you may be going through some things, but there is an angel out there that God is going to send to you to get you out of that. And because of my financial struggles, me and my husband's financial struggles, I have a dream one day to open a foundation for people like us in a situation where you just need a little few groceries to make it, or you need that gas bill paid, or you need the necessities of life. You need a little help on your rent, or even feeding the homeless people. Just because you're homeless, it doesn't necessarily mean you were a crackhead or you were on drugs. A lot of people, I was this close to being one of them, and I have never done drugs in my life. So it's mindful also too, what I learned, to not judge people's situations. You can say what you could have done, what you should have done, and you can point fingers, but you don't know what a person is going through unless you've been in that position. So financially, for me, I never judge anybody about what they should be doing or what they could be doing, because I know circumstances just happen, and for us it just happened, and it really started just coming to Georgia, and having a job opportunity, my husband, and then it just fell through. And that was the starting point of the downfall, and thinking that things were going to be, but they weren't. And I go into great deal in my book about Triumph that comes out after this series, so stick around at the end of June actually. And I'm not going to give all the juicy details out on the show today, but I just wanted to encourage everyone that may be going through something to just hold on. And so what you saw in those clips was places where I found positivity, places where I found contentment, places where I found hope for a brighter tomorrow, places where I found strength, places where I learned to adapt to change. I found humility there. I became completely humble, especially in the second hotel, because it was just filthy. Filthy, filthy, filthy. I can't even describe the smell of that room. And humbleness. A lot of good things came from that I would never ever want to go back and erase, because I had to sleep in a crummy hotel, or I had little skid marks around the toilet. I would never want to erase that for what I gained from that, and the compassion that I gained for other people from that. I would never want to replace that. So I don't want people to look at my story in pity. I want you to look at my story and see triumph. I want you to look at my story and see that all things work together for good in the end. At 19, 21, 22, me and my husband went through some financial struggles that most older couples don't even make it out of. And let me tell you something, being totally transparent, finances will completely take a toll on your marriage. And if you're not truly rooted in Christ, if you're not truly rooted in your spouse, if you're not dedicated and committed to your spouse, you will never make it. If I didn't have real love for my husband, if he didn't have real love for me, we would have never made it out of the financial struggle, because it consumes you mentally, it consumes you physically, and then when you don't have any jobs, you sit around and you're staring at each other, and guess what that leaves? Time to argue about what you're going through. And so I know firsthand that it's challenging to get through it's challenging to go through financial struggles by yourself, let alone with another person that you have to talk things out with, that you have to communicate with on days where you don't even feel like communicating. There were days I didn't even want to look at him. Maybe he felt the same way, but I was very angry. I felt like some of it could have been prevented. I felt like we did some things wrong. I felt like we were being punished. And I want to give encouragement to couples going through finances. Hold out and endure till the end. If you work together, if you work as a team, if you come up with a savings and a budget and really stick together. And the thing is, you must do it as a team. One person can't be over here planning and then you have to come to a consensus together to make it work, to make it last. And I just want to tell you, going through finances, it's a collaboration effort. You can't, I can't stress that enough. You can't do it by yourself. You have to be a team to get out of it. You have to be a team to want to get out of it. Because a lot of the times we'll see couples where one person is financially savvy and the other person is just a loose cannon. And so you have to be willing to work together to get to the point of being financially stable, in a positive place with finances, and not just rich. I know people that want to be stable, okay. I wouldn't necessarily say I want to be rich. I want to be comfortable, and there is a difference. And when you're going through that, just remember the teamwork effort in it. Just remember that it's a together thing. Remember that marriage, the twain became one flesh. So you have to think with one mind. You have to think as one quarantine, and so that's the main thing that I want to tell you. That I want to talk to you about is having patience going through the process. It takes seconds to fall into a state of financial stress. It takes seconds to lose your job and then get backed up on bills, or move in our case and not be able to find a job quick enough, or circumstances just happen. And it takes patience to realize that, okay, even though now I'm doing better, I still have to work. I still have to work at it to pick up the slack, pick up all the stuff that was, left behind. And for us, it took years and years to get out of the hole, to rebuild everything that we worked for prior to that, because we didn't start out broke, we didn't start out poor, we started out very comfortable in our situations, and it just happened. And so for me, patience is one of the most important things, realizing that you're not going to snap your fingers and you're going to be out of the hole. It's going to take a while to rebuild, and you have to have patience with your partner. You also have to have patience with yourself. You might not be able to get those new shoes that you're looking for because you have to catch up on a collection notice that you had that you couldn't pay back then. So just always remember patience, and that's just a part of, regardless of if you're going through financial struggles or not, always have patience with your partner. They're not going to think like you, they're not going to act like you, so you're going to need patience. When you're a couple and you're going through financial struggles, I know firsthand because I made it, my husband and I made it over the hump. So what I'm telling you is not something that I read in a book, it's not something that I got offline, it's something that I've been through. When you are going through financial struggles, it is important that you remain hopeful and positive. When we first were going through everything, I was not positive at all. I'm gonna tell you right now. I was so mad at my husband. In the book, you'll find out where I really got angry with him, and I was just angry about the situation. And it wasn't until I got into the hotels that I realized, like, girl, you should have been content because you had a roof over your head. You had something in your name to where it was yours, and now you're in this hotel. You have nothing to your name. You have nothing to show for. When you're going through this as a couple, understand that if you're ready to walk out of the situation, think long term, have hope that you're going to get out of it. Always remain positive that you're going to get out of the situation. If you don't have hope that you're going to get out of the situation, you're going to be easily able to walk away from your husband, walk away from your spouse. And I remember going to sleep over at a friend's house in Atlanta on the South Side because I just couldn't. It wasn't my husband that I was angry with, it was the situation, but because he was there, it trickled over to him. And for a little while, I was angry with him, but I realized that he was going through it too. This is not something that he wanted. Who sits around and says they want to be broke and living in hotels. So I had to realize that he's going through this situation too. He probably feels 10 times worse than I do because he's the leader of the household. He probably feels like he put us in this situation. So just remember, as a couple, you have to think together as a couple. You have to realize that, in the end, there's triumph in the end, and you won't get to that point if you don't stick it out and go through that and understand that it's building strength for other obstacles that come up in your relationship, any adversity that you go through. Mine just happened to be finances. Some people may go through other different adversities in their relationship. Mine just happened to be finances, but it prepared me for everything else that will come up in life. It prepared me. It made me understand that, whoa, we have a really good thing here. We can get through some things. Because we were at a low point and we got through it together. So it'll put in your head that I can get through this. I have the strength. I have the endurance to make it. And so you won't know that unless you stick around for that. So, that's my word to you guys. I hope you will get Vow Triumph book. You'll get the full story, layout, everything that how we ended up in the position, a few things that happened during that time, and just lessons and wisdom about making sure that you have a really good savings account and that you make the right decisions financially. So tune in next week. I have two special guests with me for episode 7 in sickness and in health. Stick around for that. You don't want to miss it. It's a really good episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Have a blessed day.